Yes, guys, this is Barber Talks. Before we start the video, please make sure you subscribe right here. Let's get into it. Yes, guys, welcome again to another episode of Barber Talks. My name is Michael, also known as M. Jose Cuts, and today we are here with another, yet again, guest. Can we guess who he is? No other than the man himself, Hairforce 1 director, Anderson Boyce. How you doing?
Wow, yeah, I'm very well. It's a big intro, Mike.
Part 2.
Yeah, it's a big intro. I don't know if the intro needed to be that big. Yes, I'm well. Thank you for having me on board again. It was a good time last time. Hopefully we can cut it up some more.
Yeah, 100%, man.
Yeah.
First of all, how was your morning? Because I don't know if you were feeling like a black person this morning in regards to your timing, or if you felt like a businessman,
Wow. Wow.
Look. I just want to know how you're feeling.
Is that what you're doing?
That's what we're doing, mate. That's what we're doing.
If I felt like a black person, how do I even answer?
I'm joking. But honestly,
well, firstly, I always feel like a black person. Yeah, that's the first thing. And secondly, how do I feel? I was a little bit, so my schedule wasn't exactly as I wanted it to be this morning. It wasn't exactly as I wanted it to be this morning, but most importantly, I made it here on time to get this done, so yeah.
I had a reason for why I asked if you felt like a black man or a businessman.
Yeah, you don't really ask without having a reason. I'm sure you did. What was the reason?
There's always a method to the madness. I'm just saying, you got it on time, or did you?
It was like 9:02 or 9:03.
You know what? I'm not.
9:02, 9:03.
I mean, did we agree on that? Okay, I'm joking.
I feel like I was on time.
Fair enough. I mean, but yeah, you said to me, why was I smiling before we started?
Yeah. So you got real happy.
So I mean, was there an issue with me getting happy?
No, because it was just more the timing of the happiness. It was more the so you were like, okay, I'm about to press record, and then this big smile came up, and I was like, oh, so okay. Okay, he's happy knowing that it's about to start. Okay, cool, that's fine. Let me see what he's got lined up. It just got me thinking. Yeah, it got me thinking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, Andy, obviously today I wanted to carry on from our last first part, the sequel. So this is a sequel today. To carry on delving into Hairforce 1, and a bit in between as well. So I want to start off first and foremost. What are your thoughts on the wall magics?
But those clippers
They look quite nice to you. I think people have told me you really enjoy these clippers.
This particular clipper, yeah.
Yes, I've heard a lot.
Are we doing? What are we doing? Are we doing clipper review show?
No, nothing.
Is this what we're doing?
No,
are we changing it?
No, it's asking.
No, it's not podcast anymore. It's clipper review show.
I was asking.
Okay, cool. If we're doing clipper review show, then Simon, Wal, I respect you guys. You guys are trailblazers in this game, and I think Wal's name is it speaks for itself. It's I think the very first pair of clippers I picked up was a Wal, and I still use Wal today. So complete and utter respect for what Wal provide to the industry. However, this is the worst clipper on the market. For me personally, this is the worst clipper on the market.
Why?
I think it's more of I think it's a good starter clipper. I think it's a good so for learners, we advise, or not advise, a lot of them end up getting magic clips as a go-to. I don't know, it's kind of lightweight, it's easy on the hand, it feels good. The actual functionality is where I start to lose interest, because it's not durable, it's not heavy duty, it's not So I suppose it works in line with what I'm saying. For as a starter, I'd say yeah, as a starter clipper, like maybe, but any advanced senior years of experience barber, I don't think they'll have much. I just don't. I don't think. I don't think they'll have much respect for it. That's all I'm saying. I don't.
Okay.
But that's a personal opinion. There's lots of different people out here, and everybody is entitled to their.
I've heard a few people, mention it's like a door peg, whilst others mention that it's got some life in it. But each their own. Thank you.
It's a matter of opinion, right?
Yeah.
How many different clippers are there on the market? So everybody's entitled to like what they like.
100%. Well, if you do see this, send me more. Send Andy some as well. Yeah. Anyways, Andy, I just want to get into this first question straight quick, which is, do you think the awarding body, criteria reflects the real diversity of all hair types and barbering techniques?
I think it's no secret that awarding bodies, as hard as they try, it's no secret that there are huge gaps, and like the curriculums and syllabuses as we know them to be in the industry, the barbering curriculums and so on and so forth, they don't quite reflect the entire market. They don't reflect the entire market, and things get missed. They have done for years. There's no secret.
Like what kind of things would you say gets missed out on?
I mean, the type 4 topic or conversation has been going on for God knows how long, right? Like
type 4, you mean
textured hair,
coily,
afro hair, coily, yeah. So that topic's been going on for however long, and not much has really happened. Not much has really changed. Like it's kind of been that way for as long as I've known it, and it's only because of barbers or providers like us that have had to set out roadmaps, have had to come up with ways in which we can get this training and education across in a suitable way, in a more than suitable way. And it's basically because if you rely on the powers that be, if you like, the awarding bodies and the curriculums that exist currently, you're not going to get much of that. So that's no secret. That's been like that for as long as I can remember. Should someone or something be done about it? Yeah, potentially.
Okay, you mentioned it's been an ongoing situation for a bit. So what would you personally like to see? Again, you said type 4, you mentioned afro, but for example, what kind of techniques would you want them to introduce specifically more of within the type 4, category?
Techniques, potentially not techniques, maybe CPD, maybe particular units, focusing on or have units that are present within the curriculum that focus on type 4 textured hair a lot more than they do. So, and then within that, then maybe you can get specific and speak about techniques and specific methodologies or specific systems that we use to get that haircut accurately. Maybe then you could get specific with it, but as an overarching or speaking more broadly, I think it's more like having specific units within the curriculum and within the MVQs and within the qualifications, specific units that learners have to get through, and that the spotlight is really put on, as opposed to just like it's there because we're ticking a box.
You mentioned certain techniques, you said units, but you see, I'm very new to the barbering industry. I'm still learning, but I have heard few things, like, for example, where some have mentioned maybe they could have things like adding shape up observations, because they've said how, from what I've heard, that the problem with the wooden body, if there was a problem, if there was a little critique or something, that even though there's a standard or requirement that needs to be met in criteria, it's more so flat tops and skin phase that they show more so. There's no other more options, like you said, in terms of afro. And when we look at examples from what I've heard other people say and mention, they talk about maybe if they could add stuff like shape up observations, sponge curl technique, adding a bit more of a mix. So I was wondering, and obviously again, you being big on diversity, again, what's your thoughts on all
I think that's a great point. I think shape ups, lineups, whatever you want to call them, shape ups, being such a focal part of a black man's haircut, it's such a huge part, right? To the client, to the consumer, it's a massive part. You've got to get the shape up right. Everybody knows that, right?
100%.
Got to get the shape up right. So it being such a focal point, it's quite crazy listening to you. It's quite crazy that hasn't ever entered into the educational atmosphere as a point of like, look, we need to teach this. It's quite crazy that it hasn't. So basically what you're talking about or potentially advocating for is more current aspects of type 4 or textured haircuts being focused on, like more current elements, shape up, as you say, sponge curl, as you say. And these are things that, as you know, coming into the industry as you have in such an amazing way, and working with the amount of type 4 hair that you've worked with, you would know that these things are quite current. These things are what the market's asking for right now. These things are gonna separate you from the next barber. These things are. So yes, they are focal points. They are very much important parts of a textured haircut, afro haircut, a black person's haircut, however you want to word it. They are very much focal points. So this is quite crazy. I agree with you that it's quite wild
you
that
never
these
thought
aren't.
of that beforehand.
No, I've definitely thought of it, but just listening to you comment on it, and like shape up is huge. Shape up's massive.
Yeah.
Everybody, we don't need to have that conversation. Everybody knows how big the shape up is, right? We've heard those stories for years. Oh, the guy pushed me back. Oh, the thing was bent. It wasn't straight. It was like that. Da, 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 da. How many people are prepared to say, I'm not changing barber. Like he knows how I like it. He knows my hairline. Like that's such a big deal for our people in our community, right? So it's quite wild how there's never actually been a spotlight from the major players, if you like, on things like that. So yeah, as I said earlier, it's down to experienced barbers and providers like us to have these things in place and see to it that your generation and the ones to follow understand the importance of a shape up.
Okay. I mean, again, delving into that section again, shape ups. You being an academy director, obviously you want all your students to learn from examples shown on the shop floor as well as what's taught in the back in the academy. So my question quick for you was, you, even as big as you say, even as much as you mentioned focal point in terms of the black community of shape ups, could you, even as an academy director, let a student do your lineup?
Yeah, so that's very clever. What you've done there is exceptionally clever. And the way you've wrapped that up and packaged it together, you're a very good presenter. Well done.
Thank you.
Well done to you. To all the students out there, you can do my fade. I haven't got. There's not much. Everybody can see. There's not much going on.
GB would love to be here.
Yeah, the fade. I don't really line up. A learner. I don't know. I don't know, but Probably not.
Probably
No,
not.
but I haven't got much left.
Yeah, go ahead.
Need to preserve.
Yeah, of course.
Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
So maybe no
Yeah.
would be my answer. But again, on a more serious note, like that's a big issue that we've had over the years in terms of pulling live models into the academy for our learners. I don't really feel like you have an academy if you don't have an access or a flow of live models. Sorry, live learners, live models. I think the head blocks are great for like the initial bit, but then ultimately, if you want to be a barber, you need to be cutting people, right?
Yeah.
So I think a flow of live models is very much important. However, black men are the least likely to come in and be a live model in the academy. So it's a thing. Like we will have all kinds of people walk in the academy and want to be live models and get themselves a free haircut from our learners, but black men are the least likely.
Why is that? Why? I mean, I would know to some extent. I could answer, but I don't want to be biased. Obviously, I've got you on today. I know your thoughts, but I could delve in and tell you, share my opinions. But I want to know why you would say, there's that somewhat. I don't know if insecurity. I don't know. What's your thoughts on why?
I think it's. I don't know how much time you've got on this podcast.
Yeah.
And I could go real deep, but let's just keep it surface. Yeah. There's a huge psychology behind that process, the process and the relationship between a black man and his hair. There is a huge psychology behind that process. So ultimately, what it translates to in real time is somebody saying or having the opinion of, do you know what? No, I got my guy. My guy's been doing me for years. That's my guy. I can't go to anyone else. I got my guy. You'll hear that most commonly, yeah? 9.9 times out of 10. No, I got my guy. Got my guy. It doesn't matter if he's near or far. That's their guy. The guy that's been doing it for years, the guy that knows the shape of their head, knows the hairline, knows the contours, knows the this, the that, everything. And that's where, so it becomes like, there's this goes further than how well the guy cuts hair. This is like, that's their person. That's their person. Yeah. Like, it kind of goes a bit deeper than, this is just the person that cuts my hair. Yeah. It's not just, he or she cuts my hair, but it's not just the person that cuts my hair. This is more than that. So no, I'm not going anywhere else. That's my person. And more importantly, I'm definitely not going to a learner because I've got my person. And I think we're the most likely to hold that view or hold that stance when it comes to our barbers or our stylists. If you want to cross the board to hairdressing a bit, I think most other demographics, communities, they are more likely, not I think, we see it on a day-to-day, they are more likely to have an approach of, oh, it's just hair, it will grow back. It's just hair, it will grow back. Whatever the outcome, whether it's a good cut, bad cut, I know it's going to grow back. So yeah, go for it.
Not to be biased, quick, I didn't mean to cut you out there, but just not to be biased, but do you think it's because their focal point of their haircut may not necessarily be on their hairline, hence why they say that maybe their hair, a bad haircut for them may not reflect the same way it would for a bad haircut for a black person, maybe?
Again, very good question. The focal point being the hairline. I definitely think that has some or a lot to do with it. 100% do. I definitely do. I guess the more pertinent question, based on what you've just said, is would there be a flow of black people who were happy to get their hair cut by learners but not the shape up done? Get the sides and top done and faded but not the shape up?
Yeah.
I still think no.
Even that, right?
I still think no. I still think even if you said to that that person who I just described earlier, who's got their, who's had their barber for however long and they don't want to go anywhere else. If you said to them, right, I've got to learn, I will do it for free, and it'll just be the sides and the top, no shape up. Would they be more inclined? I don't think so. I don't think so.
Interesting.
I don't think so. But I do think there's truth in what you've said about the hairline, and it's only now, Michael, because I'm old enough. It's only now, like, we're seeing like shape ups. When I was a child, I sound like that old guy now. When I was a child, skin fades weren't getting had by everybody. They were only for, I wouldn't say for, sorry.
I don't know.
They were only getting done within the black community, skin fades, when I was a child, so going back a little while. And shape ups. They were only getting done within the black community. It was only black people you saw walking around with a skin fade and a shape up. Right now, the way the internet has made the world so small and brought everything so much more together is now everybody's got a skin fade. Now everybody's getting a shape up. So to answer your question again, I think there is a generation of white people, Asian people, other communities that would get their hair cut without a shape up. But I think definitely now we're in a time where a lot of people are getting a shape up. A lot of people are getting a shape up. It's not just the black community that's getting a shape up now. And, that's another argument. Some people will say it's a great thing. Other people have bought into what we do and how we do it, and that's good and blah, blah, blah. And other people might say, have another view, which we won't get into. But when I was a kid, it was shape ups and skin fades. They weren't getting, not everybody was asking for that. But nowadays, everybody's got a taper now. Everybody.
Yeah, everyone. Yeah, there's a trend.
Skin fade taper, loads of hair on top. Everyone's got one.
You mentioned this new day age of haircuts and styles. You as a barber who's been in the game for over 20 years, do you ever have intrusive thoughts when a kid, an adult, anyone comes in your seat and he asks for what's trending right now? But obviously, to some extent they say, I think you know where I'm going with this. Some people, maybe the customer's always right, I don't know, blah, blah. How it works in certain business models, companies, I don't know. But do you ever think in your mind, this just doesn't suit you? I wouldn't get this if I was you. But then you just go do it anyways because they requested. But in your head, you just want to just say something or laugh. I don't know. With all due respect.
I think your questions are so good, and people are going to end up thinking that I knew that they were coming or we worked it together. Your questions are spot on. They really, really are. Yes is the answer. Yes, I do. And it happens a lot. Again, like, I'm a little bit older now, so I feel like I'm watching the industry from a different place. Obviously, I'm watching the industry from a different place than I used to, and still being or having shop floor involvement, which I love. It kind of does allow me to see that, you know what, like, do I agree with all of the current styles and all of the current trends and do I agree with it? No. Do I like doing it? No. Thankfully, the way in which the industry works is that when if you're in it for a long time, your clientele tend to grow up with you. So a lot of my clientele have grown up with me and they're my age. So they don't ask me for the new stuff. My clients, generally speaking, you see how the shop floor works. My clients tend to be in and around my age group. So they won't ask me I very rarely get asked for fibers. I very rarely get asked for, the burst fade, all this new stuff. Yeah, the C cup, the what? You want a skin fade, but you want to keep the whole, but you still want a skin fade. All right, yeah, we'll get that done. You know, so I don't really get a lot of people asking me for that. But when I see it, do I agree with it? Do I like it? Some of it. There's a lot of it I don't. But that's, you know, it's just normal. That's just fashion. That's just how the thing goes round, the wheel goes round. Like it's supposed to be that way. Like new trends are supposed to come in, and old people like me aren't supposed to like it, and that's just the way it goes. That's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. That's normal.
Fair enough. So obviously, when a client's come off your seat, let's say it's not necessarily one of your old clients, it's a new client, and he's gotten a haircut that you just in your head already it doesn't suit him, and he's walked away, walked off. Have you ever thought to yourself, it's made your work look slightly not as good as it could have been because it doesn't suit him, and it bothers you, not in the sense of you can't sleep at night, but because it just doesn't suit him, and now he just walked around with something that just doesn't suit his head shape, maybe?
I wouldn't say to the point where it would have bothered me like that. No, I wouldn't say so. You know, the mullets or all this big hair on top nowadays with a small taper. And I know how parents feel about it. The kid walks back in the house and says, "Yeah, I just come from the barbershop." No, you didn't. You know, you didn't. Or if you did, you didn't get a haircut. You know, you didn't get a haircut.
Yeah.
I get it. That's what's in. That's what's cool. That's what's trendy. I'm going to lose so many young clients when they hear this. but
it's no, new age.
That's what's in. What?
It's new age now.
It's new age, right?
That's what it is.
That's what it is, right?
Yeah, you mentioned parents. You know, like kids coming back home, their parents, and then the parents look at the kids like at the kid wondering, what did you get cut? What was this you got done? Blah blah. You also, as a parent who has a son, you know, children, would you, again as a barber, would you let your son get his haircut from another barber? Or what are your thoughts on that?
Let my son get his haircut
from another barber
while I'm still alive? Or what? I'm not locked up. I'm not in jail. I'm on road, and I'm alive.
Yeah,
my son.
I mean,
Mike.
Hey, look.
No.
Yes, he's on holiday.
But my fingers are working. My hands. I haven't got anything wrong with my hands.
No, nothing.
Nah.
Well,
that's my son, bro.
No. I'm just asking.
Yeah, no.
Some people might want to know and say maybe him being, if he goes that, there may be exceptions if he goes to certain top class barbers, major players you mentioned earlier. I don't know. Maybe you let it slide slightly, or maybe it's a no. Because no one hears this. You know what I mean? Like no one hears this.
I suppose it's ego, isn't it?
I don't know.
But that's my no way.
That's your son.
Yeah, no way. Yeah. Absolutely no way. You guys, no way. Like, no way.
Okay,
no way.
Okay, interesting. You mentioned earlier about watching the industry from a different place. So, whilst you said that, what came to my mind was in regards to the teaching then in the industry, since you've obviously started the academy, have you seen it change a lot? How's the teaching been for you? How's it transitioned, you know, in general and everything? You know, even in terms of recruiting teachers, has that been a bit hard? You know, how's that all been?
The industry has changed. It's changed quite a bit. It's changed in line with the barbering market, I suppose, in that a lot of what's happening outside, they want to know inside. And when I say inside, I mean the academy. So nowadays, a lot of the inquiries that we receive are more fade-based inquiries, taper-based inquiries, shape-up-based inquiries. They're more in line with modern barbering and the modern trends. And that's why I think at this moment in time, recruitment is where it is for us because that's what's cool, that's what's current, that's what's in, that's what they want to learn at this moment in time. I think, yeah, there probably was a time when, and we still do it, like, as you know, your uniform layers, your wing lengths, your squared layers, your round layers, it was, people would come in for a lot of more traditional barbering education. So there probably was a time where that exists right now, and there probably still are academies that get a lot of traditional barbering education inquiries. But for us, it's all like the modern stuff. So to answer your question, yeah, it's changed. It's changed significantly. Obviously, goes without saying, the rise of online usage has changed the game massively. Things like TikTok, platforms like TikTok have changed the game massively, both from a consumer's perspective and from an educational perspective. Have changed things hugely. So yeah, there's quite a few ways in which the industry's changed, and I've had the pleasure of watching it change.
So you're saying basically it's getting better in your opinion?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, again, a lot of people will understand this when I say it. When I was young, or back in the day, it wasn't cool to be a barber. There was nothing cool about it. Like, it wasn't something that loads of people wanted to do. It wasn't something that you could build a life from. It wasn't something that it wasn't cool. That's the appropriate word. It wasn't cool. Nowadays, and you check the inquiries that we receive, and I'm pretty certain that loads of other providers and barbershops are receiving, inquiries have gone through the roof. People want to know, people want to learn. Yeah, COVID probably had something to do with it as well. People are looking for a way in which to become recession proof, a skill that would be with them for life, outside of, plumbing, sparky, carpentry, whatnot. But yeah, it's now cool. It's now cool to be a barber if you're 16, 17, 18, and even older. It's now cool. There's a lot of people that are trying the barbering industry for their second or third career choice. So there's a lot more, there's a buzz around it now. There's a good energy around it now, and there wasn't so when I was young.
Okay, and when you mentioned when you were growing up, how was the teaching style back then? Because obviously now, the reason I ask is because colleges, for example, they've been doing a lot more hairdressing courses way before barbering, and I was wondering if there's been challenges that you've noticed that have been up and down from, the transition of teaching styles to now, because barbering, to somewhat you could say, it's behind hairdressing.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of, I think FE colleges and big colleges, they do things a certain way, and they have done for a long time. So we've definitely had learners come to us after coming or going to an FE college, and actually coming to us qualified with a qualification, a level 2 qualification, but not knowing how to handle themselves in a barbershop or barbering environment, or deal with clients and so on and so forth. But these are qualified people. These are people that a college has said, yeah, you're good to go. You are qualified. So there are challenges. There are definitely challenges, and it's just understanding the landscape, Michael. It's understanding the landscape and knowing who needs what when a learner comes to you. So I think identifying that is probably one of our best attributes, like understanding exactly what a learner needs in specific, because everybody's journey is different. And yeah, you might have come from an FE college, and yeah, you might have come from a self-taught background. Yeah, you might be part of the YouTube generation. Yeah, there's so many different, there's so many different ways to skin a cat now. You just have to basically be able to identify where someone is in their journey and be able to give them what they need for that particular point in their journey. And that's something that I think we do quite well. So there are challenges, but it's knowing how to navigate. It's knowing how to navigate and get through them. It's it kind of is what it is.
Okay, Andy, I'm approaching at the end, and I've got one or two more questions left.
Mm-hmm.
Again, there's a lot of things you mentioned I just picked up when I was writing notes. And one of them was a term you used. You said powers that be.
Mm-hmm.
For me, that stood out. And I've been wanting to ask this for a while now. I think for the last episode. And for me, when you mention powers that be, it makes me think about gatekeepers, stuff like that. And it makes me wonder, who are these powers that may be that you mentioned, you talk about? So my question then, hence that being said all, is would you say there are gatekeepers within the barbering industry in order for you to reach a certain level of stardom or success?
I think there's gatekeepers in every industry. I think those barriers are becoming easier to kick down, as we've seen across the board, i.e. the film industry, i.e. the music industry, i.e. the acting industry. You know, we're seeing how gatekeepers are becoming less and less important, because the internet has and is opening up ways for people to find progress themselves. So we've seen that across the board in various industries. But to answer your question, yeah, absolutely. When I mentioned powers that be earlier, and I don't really want any sort of like
You'll be careful your words.
yeah, I'm not as a company, we work with the awarding bodies. We have to. That's what it is. That's part of what we do, right? So I'm never like against an awarding body or trying to, you know, in any way, shape or form rival or anything like that.
Of course.
We have to work together in order to get the job done successfully and in order to get the learners over the line and job ready. That's what we have to do. So when I mentioned them earlier, powers that be, that's what I was referring to. I was referring to the awarding bodies, which we need. We need them. You know, if you want to do things in a certain way, some would say the correct way, you know, get yourself qualified, get yourself the necessary experience, get yourself moving in the industry in a way that you want. Like at some point in time, yeah, you will need an awarding body. Like you will need one, and that's just part and parcel. They're there for a reason. So I have a lot of respect for them.
Okay.
Yeah, no issues. Issues.
I mean, so there's definitely a power play. That's all I need to know, really and truly.
Yeah, there are.
Okay.
There are gatekeepers, 100%, and that's just what it is.
And they're watching right now.
No, well, I mean,
but,
hopefully, this is what I'm saying. Hopefully, we're not going to be doing all of that. But yeah,
it's all good, man. You don't need to, you know. But anyways, Andy, last question before you leave.
Yeah.
And I know you're a very busy man. My last question is, as a very skilled barber yourself, you know, you're a very skilled professional. How would you say your scissor cutting skills are?
I would say,
would you say you've mastered it?
I definitely wouldn't say mastered.
Okay.
No, 100% I wouldn't say mastered. I'd say I'm a long way off that teenage barber that came into the game, patterns, designs, fades, blah, 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 clipper work. I'm definitely a long way off that. And I have to be that, you know, the fundamentals I had to learn years ago, like, you know, years ago. Do I still look at Shane's work? Shane is one of our white educators. Do I still look at Shane's work? Do I still look at people like Josh LaMonica's scissor work, Kevin Lutchman's scissor work? You know, there's loads of names. Sorry if I haven't mentioned you. But yeah, I still look at that level of scissor work and be like, wow, yeah, that's a level that I aspire to be at. So 100%, I would not use the word mastered, but I'm definitely a long way off that clipper barber that I was back in the day, for sure.
Interesting. Anderson, again, unfortunately, we could go on for a while. I would love to want you to carry on for a while.
Yeah, we could.
I've been getting messaged by the powers that Maybe. We need to cut this short now.
Yeah.
But anyways, pleasure. I mean, hopefully, if we can get part 3 and everyone likes it. I mean, would you be down?
Yeah. I'll be down. I enjoy talking to you.
No worries, man.
I enjoy talking to you.
It's a pleasure, man. Have a great day.
Big up yourself, man.
Anything else you want to say quickly to the camera before you go? Anything coming up? You should be aware.
We've got a very, very busy end of year schedule for us personally. So look out for a few bits online, and kudos to you and what you're doing, because I think your work is inspirational, and hopefully that you're touching lives in what you're doing as well. So credit to you, kudos to you, well done.
Thank you. Thanks for watching the video. If you like this and you want to see more, please subscribe and comment below.